All right, we are live. So again, it's Tuesday night, 7:30. We're a little bit late, but that's okay. Dig the Falls. I'm Ed Smathers, founder of Dig the Falls. We've got Donna with me, and she's one of the Dig the Falls team members. We get on live, try to talk about waterfalls and anything outdoors, and sometimes just kind of ramble. But tonight we're going to be talking about water safety along with some of the stuff that we did on New York Second Saturday. So, Donna, if you want, you can introduce yourself a little bit.
Hello. I am Donna McCabe. I live in Western New York, sort of between Buffalo and Niagara Falls. I am a waterfall adventurer, definitely enthusiast, photographer. I've written some articles that you'll find on the Dig the Walls website, just about our waterfall road trips. And yeah, I like to come on whenever I can on Tuesday nights and just chat with whoever's on here. And we have some really good conversations, a lot of fun things to talk about, a lot of interesting things and good conversations.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you jumping on, and it's been a little bit since we've had more than a couple people on, but I think it keeps it kind of fun for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So before we got on, we actually were talking about the recent rain and the swim holes and some of the waterfalls that people are swimming at. And you said you heard or read a couple of articles.
Yes, it was one I saw on Facebook. It was actually in Ithaca, so Tompkins County. I'm not exactly sure which waterfall it was. Comments I read said that it was posted, but kind of one of those known swimming areas.
Of course, yeah.
But without all the rain coming, everything like from Elsa and the remnants of that, there's a lot of rain and those waterfalls are just raging. I've seen pictures of Taganik and it's just absolutely insane. It reminds me actually of a few years ago how high everything was, maybe 5 years or so ago. But the post I saw on Facebook was about 2 deaths at one of the waterfalls where people are known to go swimming.
Wow.
Very sad, but not to, I guess I am getting on my soapbox.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I am going to get on my soapbox. There's just so much danger in those places, especially when the water is raging like it is. You don't know what's underneath there, the stone, what kind of current is going to be created with everything, especially with some of these gorges. They're just made by water rushing through them. And we don't see everything, especially if you're unfamiliar with it. There's just danger under there, and just be smart. It's not worth cooling off on a hot, humid day like today when you don't know what's under that waterfall, how deep that water is, what the current is that you can't see. Just be smart. Don't go in it. It's not worth it. And go ahead.
Well, it's funny you say that because there are a lot of locations that I'm very familiar with. I had been going there for years since I was a kid, and even with that, we stayed away from the creeks in those areas because the dynamics of the flow itself just completely change from having more flow going over the waterfall, and you can actually create kind of a suction that kind of pulls you up and just wheelbarrows you underneath the waterfall itself. And I don't know about you, but I definitely wouldn't want to experience something like that.
No.
Yeah.
No. With a line attached to me that could pull me out. I don't know. I know. It just scares me. And, we've walked the creek at Stony Brook and gone down some of those natural water slides. And, my son went down one and he didn't come up as soon as I thought he would. You get a little bit of that panic in there. But it just makes me think something like that. And that's just like a normal summer day.
Yeah.
If that water is raging, you are definitely going to severely underestimate what that current is like and what is going to be going on under those stones. It's just so dangerous. But I guess the other part is the rescuers that are called in.
Good point.
To either rescue you or if it's a recovery effort, but putting their own lives in danger to help those other people. And they do it voluntarily, but they're putting their lives at danger to help you. So just think about that. It's not just you.
Right, right, exactly. And that's, I think that's something maybe a lot of people don't really kind of take into account is the fact that, they're jumping in, they're like, well, I mean, if I get hurt, so what? Well, not really,
Hmm.
I mean, take an area like Caterskill, I mean, you've got that
Hmm.
dangerous road to begin with that everyone parks down. Then you've got the hike up to the waterfalls itself to get, and that's all single track little hikes. So it's not like,
Hmm.
you can get a couple guys side by side, and people are constantly either falling in there or hurting
Hmm.
their legs or falling on the slippery rock. So, you're putting a lot of lives in, needless
Hmm.
danger just to try to get, some swim
Yeah.
time up there. You
Yeah.
know,
It's pretty nuts.
yeah,
And I mean, granted, these people have training, but no situation is ever going to be how they were trained.
right, right,
And you
exactly.
don't know they're going to go into, what their experience is going to be. So
Yeah,
they're risking themselves
yeah,
to rescue you too. And it's just so unnecessary.
yeah.
um, so
There,
especially now that we're um, in summer, hot, humid, you want to cool off, of course, go to a waterfall. But there's just so much that needs to be taken into consideration.
yeah. Actually, in Troy, New York, there's a waterfall called Mount Ida Falls. It's in the Pocinco Gorge.
Hmm.
The gorge itself used to be used as to generate hydroelectricity. Um, it's kind of pretty well known to the local college kids that you can go down there and you're not supposed to, but they will climb the gorge walls and inevitably, at least a couple times a year, the fire department or whoever has to go down and you rescue a couple of kids off the side of the gorge walls. But what you don't hear as much about is the kids that get sucked into those old tubes that are drilled into the rock face.
Oh.
And, you've still got a little bit of suction in there, but
Hmm.
it's, it is not completely empty. So like you'll get the suction through, but then at some point you can get stuck. And
Hmm.
at that point you're stuck in a tube and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's to me that's kind of freaky. Like
Yeah.
I definitely
That's a
wouldn't want
lot
it. Oh my
freaky.
gosh, yeah. So so you really want to keep kind of conscious about that. Jackie Michelle says hi. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Um, we need to get you on here sometime too, by the way. But actually, shout out to her company, Stress Fracture. Thank you. I can't think today. So love Stress Fracture. But there's a lot of waterfalls that even just the natural waterfalls, like say I'm going to go to kind of the extreme Cohoes waterfalls. Nobody's ever going to jump off the top of that. Very few bother going to the base of the waterfall. But what I have heard some people say in passing is that waterfall, there are places that are considered bottomless. Like
Hmm.
there's crevices at the base of that waterfall that just seem to go on forever. So, and that's pretty common in a lot of these places. You'll get
Hmm.
some of these potholes that you don't know how far down those things go
No.
either. So,
Nope.
um, so really what it's all about is staying safe and
Hmm.
not pushing the bounds, not trying not to jump off the waterfalls. You know, I've done that in the past, as a kid, you're, when you're a kid, you can't be, you can't
Oh,
be
you're
hurt,
invincible.
Yes.
You're invincible.
Yeah.
I'm a
Um,
swimmer. I'm
yeah.
fine. I can
Yep.
make it. It doesn't look that bad. It's not that
Right.
deep,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
just you don't know what's under there. You can't
Hmm.
see anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even when you can see or you think you can see everything, the refraction of the light through the water
Hmm.
distorts,
Hmm.
how close or how far down things are. So,
Hmm.
so you just want to be careful. I do see a lot of people, like tons and tons, and I wasn't, surprisingly enough, I wasn't guilty of this when I was a kid, but doing no shoes in the
Hmm.
creeks when they're doing all of this too.
Hmm.
I always wore my shoes in the creeks when when I was creek walking or whatever. So, but I've got a set of shoes right now that even some of the slippery, really slippery rocks, it seems to hold
Oh
traction
yeah,
really really well. Yeah, it's
yeah,
great. Um, but if you're in sandals and stuff like that, you'd be better off taking the sandals off at that point.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, we did the creek walk up to Warsaw Falls last year,
yep,
and that's just a creek walk, and it was June. It had a great flow to it, but it
mhm,
wasn't crazy flowing. But
right,
we're walking along, and you think everything's fine. All of a sudden, whoop,
yeah,
you go
nope,
down.
nope,
So you don't know. You think, yeah, this is out, like everything all around it. You can see the bottom. You don't know.
yeah,
And just now that we're in summer and everybody's trying to find some place to cool off and waterfalls, it's just be smart. Don't do it.
yeah.
It's
There,
it's not worth it.
yeah, and that's a lot of flat slate walking up through there. So
Yes.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Then
a,
there's just some definite holes in there and you
yeah,
don't know. And
yeah. Did you guys not to go too far off subject here, but did you guys get to a point in the creek where you found all of the fossilized plants, all the old like a seafloor bottom?
you know, I honestly don't remember. I mean,
Yeah,
made it all the way up to the
yeah,
falls
yeah.
and we started in the park, so we
Okay,
didn't really
yeah,
go past where you start.
right.
Um, I guess we really weren't looking
Okay,
for too
yeah,
many things. We were kind of focused on just walking and talking and having fun and getting in the
yeah.
water. So I honestly don't
Yeah,
think we saw
if
anything,
you
looked
go
for
back
anything
again,
intentionally.
yeah, if you go back again about 2/3 of the way up, it's in an area that kind of closes down a little bit,
Okay.
and then right in the middle of the creek, you'll see all these little circles, and they're the like tops of these like really old plants that were at the bottom of an
Ah,
ocean bed, basically.
yeah, because it kind of twists and turns a little
Yeah,
bit.
yep. So you have to check that out. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, it's really kind of a cool little spot. I actually found a fossilized worm in the slate
Oh,
there
really?
one time. Yeah,
That
it was pretty
sounds so
cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty awesome. So, but anyway, to get back on topic,
That's okay.
so staying safe, while you're, near the creeks and everything. Um, I remember when I had this is way back during one of the very first iterations of Dig the Falls website. I had what I was trying to create was another social site. This is way before Facebook got crazy, like popular with everyone. I think even MySpace might have still been around
Uh,
in a normal way. But I created a social site, and I had, geez, probably about 100 people on there, sharing their stuff and
hmm
posting and everything. There's this one gentleman that was constantly posting, like he would post every single day at least once about different stories about his hikes and different things he was doing and things like that. And all of a sudden, just stopped hearing from him. And I didn't think anything of it. But then, like, I don't know, a couple weeks, months went by, and I saw a news story, and it had his name in there.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and this guy, he'd been hiking for decades, from what I recall. And he knew stuff. He knew what he was doing. And apparently, what happened was he was photographing a waterfall or a location. He slipped, fell into the creek, and drowned.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it's like it just floored me. I blew my mind because here
hmm
you've got a guy that's posting all the time, and we're hearing about his stories, and all of a sudden he's just gone. It
Yep.
was it
It can
was
happen to anybody.
yeah, yeah,
It can
and
happen. It doesn't
yeah,
take much. I mean, I've fallen, I've slipped, and
yeah,
it doesn't take much.
yeah, and
And
for anybody that kind of doubts that story a little bit, the gentleman's name was Charles Barney. You can actually look it up, and you'll find the news stories. The it's all print, but so definitely check that
hmm,
out as a heat of caution, basically.
yeah. I mean, was it last year? Maybe 2 years ago when we were up doing some waterfalls, like up, were we in the Hudson Valley? We were like at Plattkill.
Okay,
So is that considered Hudson Valley?
I think it's
Kind
it kind of
of,
kind of
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
not.
Catskills,
Um,
yeah,
Yeah, Catskills, like that general
Yeah.
area, so Platkill.
Yep.
And we had somebody walk us down the trail and
Yeah.
very nice gentleman, tell us a lot of history and um, just how much they put into educating all the visitors to stay
Yeah.
on the trails.
Yep.
And because it is so steep going down there,
Oh,
one
it's
wrong
crazy.
move and
Yep.
you're going down.
Oh yeah.
So it was great to talk to him, and we were careful. So we got down there just fine, and I was taking my pictures and doing my thing. And my husband comes on one side, and I was kind of like in the middle of the falls taking pictures. And I walked over at his side, and we were kind of making our plans, like to leave.
Hmm.
And I went to step, my foot went right out underneath me, slipped on the rock.
Oh.
I bashed my chin,
Oh no.
and like I hit my knee,
Ah,
and he and like there was no way my hands were catching me.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm thankful like that's all it was.
Right.
But if I was by myself, what if I'd really hit my head and I
Yeah.
had a concussion, knocked myself
Yep.
out? If I hit my cheekbone,
Hmm.
anything. um
Absolutely.
so I'm by no means saying I'm an expert,
Yeah.
but it can happen to anybody. The least little bit that you think, it'll get you.
Yep. Yeah.
And
There.
I
I was
usually
at.
walk with my poles.
Yes, I know. I was at Barberville one time. Say hi to Phil.
Ed said hi.
I was at Barberville Falls a year or two before they closed it down for those several
Mm.
years. And I was standing in one of the big boulders in the middle of the stream just taking photos. And it just rained. And I didn't think anything of it because it was like a really, really scruffy rock face.
Yeah.
And like out of nowhere, my feet just went right from underneath me, and I scrubbed
Mhm.
like my entire arm all the
Oh,
way down through
jeez.
here. Just got scrubbed up. So
Wow.
luckily, I even had camera on tripod and my backpack on, and I didn't break anything. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yep.
crazy how fast things can go.
Yeah.
So
Things can happen, and you think you're safe and you're doing all the right things,
yeah,
and you just don't know. You
yep,
never know. I mean, when I hit my chin, I lick my teeth real quick, like, okay, I didn't break my teeth. Like, okay, it's just my chin.
yes,
But
yep,
my husband didn't see what had happened. He thought he didn't realize. And it's like, yeah, I hit this, I hit my knee, and it was
wow,
just, yeah,
jeez,
it was, and
yeah,
so I had to walk all the way back up, and at least like I was okay. But
yeah.
if I was by myself and something worse had happened, like
Well,
you got to be careful, and you just never know.
and that location and Black Hill in general, even Stosh says he doesn't recommend anybody go there. Like it's such a crazy spot. Like the way the
Hmm.
topography is, it's just like you'll have like a normal trail, like a single lane trail, like coming from the little red cabin up there,
Yep.
and you'll be walking down and you look over to the left, and if you fell off the trail right
Yeah.
there, you could roll
Yeah.
down a hill off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yes.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Like kind of walking down the trail, and there's this overlook
yes.
that it was foggy when we were there, so we didn't get that
Mm.
beautiful clear view. But somebody had painted that, and so the guy walking down with us said, "Tell us about that." And you can look down on this trail. It's probably barely 2 feet wide,
Right.
and you look at how steep that is. And it's
Wow.
like, yeah, you guys stay on the
Mhm.
trail.
Oh yeah,
Stay on the trail.
absolutely. That's one of those places where you could still get in trouble staying on the trail.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah, but I guess that was on my mind after
yeah.
reading about that today. And I mean, we're getting a ton of rain. We just had some storms roll through here,
Hmm.
and I've seen some pictures from like around the general Ithaca area, and there's a lot of water out there.
Yeah.
And it's just be careful.
Yeah. It's
Don't
funny.
risk it.
Yeah. It's funny. We drove through Scaticoke the other day, and the falls there were stream, like not very much at all. And then
Hmm.
I think it was yesterday we drove through again, and the entire crest of the thing, it's like 150-foot wide. The entire crest was full, probably at least a foot and a half, if not 2 foot
Wow.
over. Yeah, it was coming. So,
It's a lot of rain. I think we're supposed
yeah,
to get more this week. So
yep, yep, all week, yeah,
trails are going to be wet and messy. Those waterfalls,
yeah,
as much as you want to see them,
yeah,
that
yeah,
just be careful. Like we were
yeah,
contemplating like heading down to Havana Glen on
Okay,
Sunday and
that would be
maybe
nice.
heading down towards Waverly Glen. I'll say,
Nice, yeah.
if we can go, we have to see.
Yeah,
But because I know Waverly tends to dry up a little bit, but I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
maybe really going. But Havana Glen, I saw a picture.
That one can get crazy.
It can get crazy. That's what I was thinking. That I was looking for some recent pictures. Like,
Yeah.
is it really crazy? Because my kids want to swim there. But I'm like,
Oh gosh, yeah, I
I
wouldn't
gotta
swim. No.
see. Like, I don't know. We might have
Well,
to nix that plan.
that's the thing. Like, depending on how high the water is, it turns into like a single little tiny path
Yes, a
that
little
you're like
shoot.
hugging. Yeah, it's so yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I gotta see what happens with that one. But like, well, but we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see how the weather goes this week. I'll keep an eye on it. But
Well, so well, we told everyone for 20 minutes that they should be safe and not jump in waterfalls and
yeah,
not swim. So
don't jump, don't go swimming.
keep it safe. But I had written down a couple of notes that I wanted to talk about. You didn't come out. I was disappointed that you didn't come out second Saturday. Um, but
Sorry. I gotta make it out there. I gotta.
yeah,
Oh, one of these
sooner or
days.
later. I need to make it out your way though too, because there's some waterfalls I want to visit again out there. So it's been, and my dad points this out to me constantly that he comes out here and visits with us, but we don't go out there to, you know, he's in Rochester. We don't go out
Yeah.
there to visit with him. So
I mean, you have a legitimate reason as far as little's under 6,
yeah,
or
yeah.
Charlotte's 7 now.
She's just turned 6 this year. Yeah, and the
Okay,
boy's
so
just
yeah,
turned 4.
little's
Yeah,
under 6. It
yeah,
offers its own challenges, and it's just easier for him to
yeah,
come to you. But
yeah. But still, yeah. I need.
I'm with him. You got to make it out this way.
So I think we will in the next month or two. Um, but you know, this last hashtag New York NY second Saturday, we were at Burton Pond again with the Narrows Cascade and Heritage Trail, Mount Ida Preservation Association, and the Rensselaer Land Trust. I wanted to give a shout out to the local Boy Scouts of America, troop. I believe it's Troop 502. They had a couple of their boys on site with us, so that was actually pretty cool to see them
Awesome.
there. Yeah. So we didn't get as many volunteers as what we thought we were going to. I didn't publish it as well as what I would have liked. So we stayed. There's I don't know if you've actually been to Burton Pond yet or not.
No, I have not.
No. Okay. So there's from the road. There's a basin that you can stand at the crest of and look at the first waterfall slash
Okay.
dam for Bourbon Pond Preserve. That basin gets completely overrun with sumac trees.
Mm,
So a couple years ago, we cut them all down, flush with the ground, and this year they're up at about 15 feet already
oh my gosh.
around the entire basin. So
Wow.
yes, sumac is very, very tenacious. It's very, very difficult to get rid of. So you have to just continually cut it. Um, I believe it's considered invasive.
Invasive, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there's a bunch of other things there that are invasive too. But what was, uh, we got a lot done. We got a lot of the sumac down, not as much as I wanted, but it's funny because like I'm telling these kids, the Boy Scouts, I'm like, okay, you know, be careful, don't do anything that makes you uncomfortable. You know, make
Hmm.
sure that to ask for help if you need help. You know, do you know how to use your tools? Don't go too close to the edge. All you know, all the normal stuff you tell them
Yep.
to kind of keep them safe and you know happy and everything. You know, and I don't know. I go off to the one spot, start you know chopping down my the vines and things that I've overgrown, and the vines were so overgrown that I thought that I was walking like I thought I was in a safe spot, and I wound up actually my foot went through the vines and I fell about 10 or 15 feet onto my back and slid
Oh,
down a hill
jeez.
and I wound up I
Kids,
wound
this
up.
is what not to do.
Yes, exactly. So I was actually looking up at my foot that was caught on a vine that was
Oh,
holding me from
jeez.
going any further down. So so I sat there for a couple seconds, contemplating my
Yeah.
station in life, of course, and
Yeah. It's like, am I okay? Everything's in one piece. I'm not
yes,
moving.
yeah, I'm like, all right. So I get up, kind of pop back up and around. Nobody knew I was gone. So
It's all good.
it's all good. So
Nobody saw a thing. It didn't happen.
right, move on. We're good.
That's right. Nothing to see
Oh,
here, folks.
but we had a good time. We stayed. I could only stay until about 11 o'clock because we had family in town. So uh, we got a bunch of the sumac out of the way, cleared it all out. The other kind of cool thing, which I thought was cool, but at the same time, I was a little disappointed too. Uh, we had a lot of not cattail, milkweed on
Uh,
site. So I warned the boys to keep as much of that up as
right,
possible, obviously. So I wanted all
right.
to grow. But then, and they didn't know what milkweed was, so I had to show them that. And then uh, there were wild black raspberries.
Oh,
Yeah.
yum.
So I showed them that. They didn't know what black raspberries were. So I had to show them like the plant and I got them a couple handfuls of black raspberries and they ate them up and loved them, of course. But so it was kind of cool that I got to show them those things.
Yeah,
But
like you
it was
had to
also
like when you can show somebody something like that, like,
yes,
yeah, we got this, and look at this, and you can eat this, and
yeah,
like
check
that's
it out.
fun.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, but on the same time, it was bittersweet almost too because it's like I grew up like walking through the woods with my dad and
Yeah,
with my
yeah,
cousins, and we knew what ramps were. We knew what giant puffballs were. We knew what
yeah,
wild strawberries, raspberries, all that stuff. We knew what it all was.
yeah.
And then now I don't necessarily think that that's kind of like a normal thing for kids nowadays.
No, I don't think so
Yeah.
either.
So
I'm
it,
thinking my kids aren't going to know either.
yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy because my kids. So we had people over this weekend. It was Jess's parents' 50th anniversary. So the anniversary was last year.
Hmm.
COVID kind of messed that up, so we brought it
Yep.
into this year, of course. So happy anniversary, mom and dad. Uh,
Happy
Dick and
50th.
yeah, Dick and Nancy Painter. But they so we had it here. We had people come and set up a tent for us. And while the people were setting up tents, my son Jackson kept going over and he'd find like these random bugs. And he kept coming over. He's like, "Here, look, I've got an earwig. Here, look, I've got a June bug." You know, it's hilarious. So you got this 4-year-old boy just walking up to these grown men, telling them about his bug that he caught, and what kind of bug it is, and it was really hilarious.
But you can't, you got to stop and talk to the kid. No matter your
Yep,
job, you
yep.
got to stop and talk
Oh,
to them.
absolutely. Yeah, and they were really great about it too, and they were
Yeah,
showed interest and um, you
that's
know,
awesome.
but they'll do it on the trails too. Like I'll show them some of the plants on the trails, and
Yeah.
they'll literally stop people and tell them all about the plant that they've
Hmm.
got and look at it, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah, I'm hoping to pass on a lot of really really random knowledge if I can. So
Just an appreciation and a fascination with being outside. That's something
yeah,
great to pass on. And
yeah,
I think different things we've done with our kids, and I'm like, I wonder, will they do that with theirs? What are they going to take from us and do with
yeah.
their families? Like
Well,
I hope they look back fondly on some of the things that we've done.
oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
think they will,
Oh yeah,
and maybe not like right away, but eventually, like, yeah, we used to do this with my kids, or
yeah,
when we were kids, and mom and
yeah.
dad used to take us to do that, and
Hmm.
you know, like they used to do their mancation. So it was Phil and the three boys,
That sounds fun,
and
actually.
they would just go, like, we have a lot of state parks here
Yeah,
along the lake,
yeah.
and they would just go do like a camping trip and just the boys, and
Oh, that
it
sounds
was
cool.
on occasion too. But, just little stuff like that, and, they'd stay in the tent and just
Yep.
go swimming in the lake, and,
Nice.
the hikes that we go on, the different places we've gone to,
Hmm.
just fun things that so something like that, like, your kids are
Yeah.
gonna love it. It's just something
Yeah.
fun, and they'll remember it. They'll have the best memories of that. I guess that's what I want my kids to have, just the memories
Yeah.
that they'll think back on those and spark something in them.
Absolutely. We we
So,
have, we have our first question right here.
what is the
Can you see
be-
that?
yep, what is the best waterfalls you've ever hiked? Oh, I think there's best ones for a few different reasons.
Yeah, I was going to say
Uh,
the same thing, and for different regions too.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, I think you want to go first.
I will say Pratt's Falls,
Okay.
um,
Interesting.
be, because I love how my pictures turned out. I mean,
That's
that's the
awesome.
main reason I love how my pictures turned out. um, and I look back and I see some of my old pictures. I'm like, oh, if I was there with the equipment and what I know now,
Oh
I could
yeah, true.
I could
Very
do
true.
so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But I just
Kratz
I
Falls.
it's a beautiful waterfall.
It's a great little
Um,
park.
it's a great little
Yeah.
park. I think it's underutilized, but
Oh, absolutely.
definitely getting more attention. I've seen a lot of pictures of it.
Okay.
Um, I think it's a relatively easy trail for people to go on. It's
Oh,
not really
absolutely.
long.
Yep. Yep.
There's some stairs to go down, but nothing crazy, not like,
Yes.
Letchworth or Buttermilk Falls, not stairs like that.
Right.
Um, so it's really not that long, and I think it's good for all skill levels, all
Hmm.
ages. Um, Especially like in the fall, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. During
It's
the summertime, I feel like it kind of gets closed down because the leaves kind of come in and kind of block
Yeah.
up the view a little
Yeah,
bit.
so when you
Yeah.
get some of the fall colors, but some of those leaves coming off, it really opens
Yep.
up. And I know people have gone down more to the creek level than what we did. Um, but it's a beautiful location.
Yeah.
Um,
Ah,
One I would say fairly recently was OK Slip Falls.
okay. Yeah.
Um, the waterfall was beautiful. I did not risk going down because I've heard a lot of things about it,
Yeah.
but it was just
Yep.
a great hike in. It was, I don't know, 3.5 miles in,
Yep.
traipsing through all these different woods, and you get like the evergreens, then the deciduous trees, and then open meadows, and
Yep.
it was just a great hike in. I really enjoyed that one. So I'll say
So
those two. What are yours?
those are good. Those are good choices, actually. There are so many that I've been to over the years. I would say probably one of the most memorable ones that I hit, and just not only because it was such a beautiful walk and like the waterfall itself was awesome, and there's a lot of history there, but because of the creepy guy that like walked out of the woods before I went, like, and I think I've told this story before,
Yeah.
but but I drove down the one lane dirt road, like the road was crap, like it's like potholes everywhere, just nuts road, and I drove down the road and I got to the end and there's this like brand new Saab sitting there. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? The guy walks out. Dude's got dress clothes on and a sports jacket and like nice shoes. So like
Like,
a mom
what is he
thing.
doing
Yeah,
back
I
here?
have no idea what he's doing way back here, but so hit that trail. It's High Falls, and I want to say it's on near the Grassy River. It's out near Kings Falls. I can't remember the exact location, but that one, I'll have to look it up and pop it up on this
Yeah, there's
post.
so many high
Yeah,
falls. I'm
yeah,
trying to think
exactly.
what
Yeah,
which
there's
one
only
was
like
out
20.
there. Yeah, that
but
and buttermilk or
but that one is in the original Waterfalls of New York State book that I
I have
photographed.
that under my computer. That's
Okay.
propping my computer up right now. Let's
Cayuga
see.
Falls in August. Any have you been to Cayuga Falls?
Keuka Falls?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
I,
hiking
I
Keuka Falls
yeah, I've
in
never been to
August.
Cayuga Falls.
Yes, I'm wondering if they're hiking Keuka Falls in August. Any suggestions? So if they're just going kind of Keuka Lake,
No,
um,
I think there's
is it
actually a Cayuga Falls.
is there a Keuka Falls? I did not know that. Let me
Hmm.
see.
Now you've stumped us, actually.
So they're high falls. So what Ed is referring to is his original book, Waterfalls of New York
Ah, yeah,
State.
Spyro Bound. I love
Spiral
it.
bound. I did have the plastic cover on, but it's been used too much, so it ripped off. So
If you look up High Falls, and it's in, I believe, the Adirondack region, if I'm not mistaken.
so you have the high falls on the Salmon River.
That might be the one. Yeah, it's nice, wide, bell-shaped.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it
the
kind of
one.
comes down and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a good hike in.
Oh, yeah, I
Not
love that one though.
long, like definitely like a moderate level, but it's like
Yeah,
wide open at the bottom and you
yep.
get like a good view up it.
Ah, yeah,
Um, oh, Keuka Lake Outlet Trail. Oh, great trail.
yeah. I haven't been there. I've heard
Great
it's awesome, but I
trail.
haven't been there.
It depends on where you start. Because I know it goes a long ways, but you have Seneca Mills Falls
That. Oh,
on
wait a minute. It's that spot. Okay,
yeah,
I have been
Keuka
there. Yeah,
yeah, you've been there. Keuka Outlet Trail.
yep,
Goes quite a ways.
yeah.
You
Super
have
easy from what I remember.
Seneca Mills Falls. There's a couple other ones right there
Yep.
as well. We parked one little place and kind of like I how did I describe it? It was like industrial archaeology. There's like these old buildings from the mills and stuff like that. There's a lot of great buildings right around there. And of course, there's a lot of mills that
Yeah.
used to be on that whole stretch of the
Yep.
trail. So that you'll find that's where I'm thinking like industrial archaeology.
Yep.
A lot of empty buildings and stuff like that that were the mills. Um, I got to look it up, but
I wouldn't doubt it, 13 miles, because it is a pretty robust
yes,
little trail system. Yeah.
yes, it's a great trail. I know there's parts that are paved,
Hmm.
right near Penn Yan, like right in Penn Yan.
Hmm.
What's the mill that's right there?
Yeah, I
Um,
couldn't answer
I can see it, the big yellow building. I know I have pictures
that.
of it. That's really nice right in there, like around along the river. And we drove back into Penn Yan near that part. But the part near Seneca Mills Falls, that's a nice little
Yep.
park there.
Yep. Yep.
Great little park. And you
One
keep, go ahead.
one thing I would mention that doesn't get mentioned enough, and you may find this fun, is there's a community of Amish in the area. So you might be able to pick up some fresh produce, or some jams or whatever, if they're selling this,
Oh yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're out there. So
The windmill in Penn Yan.
okay,
That's at Marketplace.
okay, yeah,
The
check it
windmill.
out, definitely.
Yeah. Let me see. So I'm in the Finger Lakes. Let me see.
Yeah, because
Uh,
basically you can park at the end of the trail and you walk right
yeah,
in. And I believe the start of the trail is all paved, and then it turns to kind of gravel for a little while, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. Yeah.
yeah. But I know part of it that we had walked along, there was some gravel there too, but it's nice and wide. Um, I don't know, like 6, 8 feet wide.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
it's a really nice trail. Like you'll find different maps. Um, okay.
But
Let's
there's
see.
a lot of it that's actually pretty well open. So if
Yeah,
it's sunny, bring a lot of water.
yes,
And if it's like some of the spots in the Finger Lakes, definitely bring some bug spray as well this time of year.
yes.
So, yeah, the
Sunscreen.
mosquitoes, yeah, sunscreen as well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Um, I don't recall how far it is from Seneca Mill Falls. I know there's a couple right there, but if I have to look at my direction. If you're heading east, um, I thought it was in your book, but I can't find it. Um, there's some other smaller ones in there. They're definitely more like whitewater than
Okay,
more
I haven't been up
scenic,
that far.
more
Okay,
scenic, like Seneca Mills Falls is. Um,
yeah, Seneca Mills is actually awesome. Like you could
oh,
sit there and just have a picnic. It's
oh
really
yeah,
great.
it's a
Yeah,
beautiful location.
yeah,
You walk up past the falls, they have a nice pavilion up there. I want to say there's some grills. Like it's a great little place just to stop. Big
yep,
wide grassy area. So you don't have to like grill or anything, but it's a nice wide area to just sit and enjoy. If
Yep.
it's a beautiful day, take the time and relax and enjoy it. And if you're
Absolutely.
hiking the whole trail, like kick back and just enjoy the sounds of the falls and all that stuff. It's gonna
Absolutely.
drive me crazy. I gotta find my pictures. But anyway, I
So,
can picture it.
to get back to the favorite falls question,
Oh yeah,
there's
your other one.
there's one more that I'd like to mention that I think is kind of it's fun and out of the way. It's High Falls in I think it's the Chattagay
Yes.
campground. That
Hmm.
one is like amazing.
Yes.
It's private, so you have to go through the campground shop in order to
Hmm.
access it. And if you're not staying at the campground, I think they charge a couple of bucks just to get onto
Yeah,
the
we did
property,
that last
whatever it is.
summer. It's not
Okay,
much.
yeah, it's
It's
like
not
two
much.
dollars or something. That's
Yeah,
silly.
it's
Um,
very affordable.
yeah, yeah. So, and the only thing that I would say is that the stairs down are intense, to say the least.
They've
Um,
been there for a while.
and they're maybe
um,
like 2 inches wide. There.
yeah. And then this much space
Yes,
between them, the rise and the run.
yeah. So be prepared
Yes.
to have your strong knees on that day.
Yeah.
So,
There was somewhere I saw like the write-up of it. I don't know how many stairs down they say. Oh, they warned when we bought our ticket, she warned us like it was X number of stairs
okay,
down.
yeah,
I don't know, like 200 or something. You're like, yeah, 200 stairs, no big deal.
yeah, yeah. Oh
You have
yeah.
to take 200 stairs up.
So I
Um,
was I was there. I took Jess. I was there with Jess actually. And at first, we really couldn't figure it out. We didn't know where the heck we were supposed to enter because the directions that I had were absolutely horrible. Eventually I found out through a lot of Googling and stuff that you go through the campground. So took Jess, had our dog, our Basset Jack with us because we took him everywhere. And got down there. I'm taking pictures up on the right hand side. You know how it's kind of got the sloped, kind of rocky area
yeah.
up on the right hand side. So I was taking some pictures up there, and a lot of the I think it's called butterfly weed or something like that was
Oh
out.
yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so I was up there, and it's thick. All those weeds grow up thick, and I'm taking pictures, and I literally just look over like this, and like probably this far away from my face is the biggest effing spider I've ever seen in my life. Like it was almost as big as my face. I looked over, and like as soon as it saw me look at it, it just like it's gone. But it was so big. So needless to say, I got back down towards
It
the
was
creek.
sizing you up for
Yes,
his next meal.
I swear that thing could have taken down a bird if it wanted to. This thing was huge. It was crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we went there. We were up that way last year, 4th of July weekend.
okay. Yeah.
And that was on my list to go to because I've seen so many beautiful pictures
Oh
of
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
And we got down there and it was really sunny, so
Hmm.
not the best for pictures, but also a bit of a breeze, so the mist was blowing and
Nice.
couldn't get
Okay.
the pic. I mean, it was beautiful to be down there,
Yeah.
but I couldn't get the pictures I wanted.
Ah,
But I love seeing the falls and actually being there after seeing so
mhm,
many gorgeous pictures. So,
yeah.
okay, mine didn't turn out great, but
So
at
so
least I've seen them.
let me ask you this because you bring up a good point. So seeing all of the beautiful pictures and then
Mhm.
showing up, did it ruin it for you seeing all the beautiful pictures first?
I don't think so, no.
No. Okay.
I don't think
All
I've
right.
ever really been disappointed.
Nice.
Um, I mean, there's definitely some that are like, "Wow, this is gorgeous. Look at
Yeah.
that." And others are like, "Yeah, this is still great." I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever been disappointed in seeing them.
Right.
Maybe the circumstance so I couldn't get the picture I wanted,
Right.
or,
Right.
I see one like, "I wanna get that
Yeah.
picture too."
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and every day is different,
Yeah.
and, like,
It's good.
it might not be a great day for pictures, but
Right.
it's okay.
Yeah, because the reason I ask is, I ask this to a couple people every once in a while, and because long ago I did an interview with Russell Dunn and talked to him about why he didn't include many pictures in his guides, and the reason he stated was he wanted people to experience the waterfall themselves without, getting some kind of,
Yeah, I can see
pre-exposure,
that.
basically,
It's a fair
um,
point.
yeah. So, and that for the longest time kind of held me back from sharing too much, like
Hmm.
about a location, because it made a lot of sense. Like it's nice to be able to allow people to kind of
Yes.
experience it themselves.
But I
So,
think with some of them, especially when you get into the Adirondacks,
mhm,
water changes them so much.
true.
And
Mhm.
you get a real dry summer, they're going to look totally different.
Yeah.
Um, and, even some around here that typically get very dry, if not
Yeah.
totally dry up in the summer.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You see pictures of them like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. And so
Yep.
maybe more not disappointed that I've been there, but water flow is nothing I have control over.
Right. Right.
Um, so sometimes for me, it's, am I in the right place? Is this what it looks like? So I use it more as a comparison,
Right.
but I don't think I've ever been disappointed by one.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, because I mean, like, I've got a couple of really good photos of John Boy Thatcher when it's actually flowing, but
Yeah,
probably 90% of the summer there's like dribbles off the edge, and that's it. Like,
no.
there's
When I
what
was
there's
there, it was so hot and dry.
yeah, you've got a couple pools up top, where the fish are
Yeah,
trying, or the
yeah.
crayfish are trying to survive,
I
and that's
could
about it.
spit off the top.
Yes.
And
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, well, because we were there a few years ago and it was so dry. And
Yeah.
because I had like the long shutter on my camera, like you could kind of see there's water.
Yes.
And then like
Yeah.
I would see your picture and it's like foggy and there's water. Like it's gorgeous. That's what it's supposed to look
Oh, I got,
like.
I got, I got so lucky with that picture. Like the timing and circumstances and everything. Like
Yeah,
I had a videographer friend come with me on during that day to visit a bunch of waterfalls, and I think he showed up just a little bit late, and
yeah,
we were leaving a little bit early to begin with, and like it just all came together. It was just
yeah.
really, really amazing.
Yeah.
So
Well, back to Platte Cove.
yeah.
When I went there, it was sunny, but as we were walking down, you could see fog moving up the gorge. But
Mhm.
I don't really know the area. I don't know what the topography is going to do for the weather, anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
So we were kind of like taking our pictures and I wasn't paying attention like what really was behind me.
Right.
And after I fell and all that stuff, and of course, like somebody else comes and I'm like, yeah, well, fine. We ended up talking with them and um, we talked about photography for a little while.
Nice.
And he was getting himself all set up. And I kind of look and the fog had made its way up there. I'm like, oh, I can't leave now.
Yeah, yeah,
I got to get
absolutely
back
not.
set
Yeah,
up. And
yeah.
so I'm happy with the pictures because like the
Nice.
fog is just so cool.
Hmm.
So if I hadn't fallen and hadn't chatted with this guy, I wouldn't have gotten that picture. Like
Right.
his turned out better than mine, but it just still made for a really cool picture because I'm just not out in the fog
Yeah.
to take pictures of some of these places, and
Right.
really that is so completely lucky.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's funny you mentioned that because like for years, I mean, I lived uh, uh, probably for almost 2 decades. I lived close enough to Letchworth that I could just go visit,
mhm.
anytime I wanted. I mean, I lived in Castile for 5 or 6 years straight. So I had up until I was, geez, 26 or 27, I had never seen the fog in Letchworth State Park. You know how it
Oh,
comes inside the valley there? I'd
yeah,
never seen that up until I was like in my late 20s.
yeah,
It's insane. So,
yeah,
it's all about, taking the time and being conscious of the weather and all. And you
yeah.
can time it pretty
Yeah,
easily.
and you don't
Yeah.
know, and we had gone down it was in October, I think,
Okay.
and we got there later than what I anticipated, but there was still fog in the gorge. So
Nice.
we were up near we started at Upper Falls, so to walk
Yep.
down and you get the stairs and
Yep.
it was just beautiful. It was
Oh, that's awesome.
beautiful. So I have my list of what I want to do at Letchworth. I want to get there
Yep.
for a beautiful sunrise and
Yep.
I've been there for sunrise, but it wasn't as good as I hoped,
Okay.
but it's okay. Like,
Yeah,
it's still there, and I just have to get up at ridiculous o'clock to get down there.
oh, absolutely. You need to you need to hit it sometime when there's fresh snow,
Yeah,
because that is like another world all in itself
yeah,
too. Um,
yeah. We started visiting there in the winter,
yeah,
snowshoeing and hiking and all that stuff, and even the
yeah,
falls in the winter. Like, Letchworth is just hands down my favorite state park. I could go there anytime. It doesn't
yeah.
matter. I think I was there probably about 10 times last year. And my husband keeps asking me, why do you want to keep going back there? Like, well, it's
Why not?
gorgeous and it's different
Yeah,
every day and it's so
yeah,
huge and it's just always going to be different.
yeah,
And going on, I'm going to get my directions mixed up again, the east versus the west side, the
yeah,
Nunde side
yeah,
versus um like the Mount Morris and Perry sides.
yeah.
And sometimes I'll go to the Nunde side and go in like the parade grounds and you walk along that trail. I think it's part of the Finger Lakes Trail. I don't know if it's, I can't remember what number it is, but you get that view of Middle
Middle
Falls
Falls and
that
Upper Falls at
you
the same time.
and Upper
Yeah,
Falls at the same
yeah,
time, but you just get such a more wide open view of Middle Falls than what you see on the other side by
absolutely.
Glen Iris Inn.
Yeah,
And then if you time it right, um, as you're walking that trail and you're looking below Inspiration Point, you have that other waterfall there.
hmm.
And I know you and John had told me about that one, and I was actually able to catch that one that
Nice,
day.
good, good.
So it's people don't know about it,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful when it is flowing. So like it depends on the season, and I don't mind going out anytime, but it's just finding the opportunities to go.
And
So
the other great thing about that park is there are so many other opportunities there, not just from the gorge and the waterfalls, but like
mhm,
there's so many other trails that kind of
mhm,
spur away from those areas that are
yeah,
just absolutely stunning.
yeah.
And the animals that you can come across, I've seen baby raccoons there. I've seen plenty of deer.
Mhm,
The red F's, yeah, red F's.
mhm.
I've seen like stream bottom full of those, which is really fun to watch too. So, um,
Some of the posts I've seen lately are rattlesnakes.
seriously, I
Seriously.
I knew they had black
Yeah,
rat snakes, but I didn't know they had
yeah,
rattlesnakes out there.
rattlesnakes. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so just be
Huh.
careful where you go.
Yeah, I did not
Yeah,
know that actually.
rattlesnakes.
Huh.
So
Okay, yeah, because I've seen them up in Lake George. I've seen the rattlesnakes. Actually, I've got and mind you, I was like, I don't know, 20 at the time, but we were up in
is
Lake
this a
George.
hiking in your jeans with no water story?
Yes. But we went up one of the hikes out of Lake George, and we saw our first rattlesnakes. So we did what every farm boy would
Gotta
do,
poke
and
it. Poke it.
absolutely, thank you. Yes.
I wouldn't do that.
So I would say at this point in my life, I would say, what the hell were you thinking? Because that's stupid. But when you're younger, you got
Yep,
to see what it sounds like. So,
sure.
but these
First
ones,
time you
it
gotta
was,
see, you gotta hear the
yes,
rattle, see what it
you have to
does.
see, yeah, you have to hear it. So the interesting thing about it is I didn't realize that those things will go sometimes completely black. Like they'll
Oh,
like you can't really even see the design on them. They're just completely black. It's really interesting.
I'd
I had to
rather
look it
not
up.
see one in person, so I'll take
Yeah.
your word for it. Thank you.
the, these ones, holy cow! We saw two that day. The one was a little bit smaller. The other one was like 3 foot long. The thing was huge. It's giant.
Yeah, no
So
thanks.
no,
Not a fan of snakes. Not
yeah,
that like we have them in our backyard, the little garden
yeah,
snakes and stuff like that. And I
yeah,
was out weeding flowers, and like you just catch the movement. So it's like,
yeah,
whoa, not that I'm afraid of it. I'll
yeah.
still keep my distance, but it was just he wanted to get away from me too. So it's like, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we'll just let you go back in the rocks. And
Ja- Jackson has become so familiar with our backyard snakes that he knows which ones are grumpy.
has he named them yet?
Surprisingly enough, no. He's not. He just knows which ones are grumpy and which ones he can pick up. Yeah.
So funny. we have garden snakes here, and
Yeah.
we have a stone pile out back, and I've never seen it before until last year, like a whole ball of snakes. And
Oh wow, yeah, I've never seen that.
it was crazy.
Seriously?
Crazy. Like we have this
Wow.
wooden pallet and old stone on top of it. So we were
Yeah.
digging through the stone and you could see through the slats, like this
Yeah.
just all these snakes.
Wow, that's nuts. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then, we've seen like the babies, like the little
Yep.
babies, like sunning
Yep.
themselves and stuff like that. So
Yep. Yeah, I've already pulled a couple out of my basement because we've got our house is over 100 years old, so we have all these little nooks and crannies
yeah.
in our foundation, and the snakes get down there, so we have to kind of pull them out.
Thankfully we don't have that. Knock on
No,
wood. No, I
I
don't
I
want
have
that.
every once in a while I have salamanders in my basement too.
Oh, jeez. Those okay, those aren't
Yeah,
snakes, but
yeah,
yeah, no thanks. No thanks. But yeah, I could go to Letchworth anytime and it's just so beautiful.
yeah.
And I love going on those other trails because like you
Hmm.
said, there's so much more to that park, the history behind it. But the areas, the trails that they've created, there's just so many great areas other than like the three big waterfalls.
Yeah.
And I realize everybody doesn't have the ability to go on some of those other trails, but
Well,
it's just a great place to go.
now they have the autism trail,
Oh, yep.
yeah, which is
Autism
nice.
Nature Trail. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So that opens it up, the possibilities up a little bit more, and
Oh, yeah.
um, outside of that, even if you can't make it to the lower falls, which is hard,
Hmm.
whatever side you choose, obviously, but like you said, there are literally dozens of other
Yeah.
waterfalls that you can visit
Yeah.
that aren't very difficult to get to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. It's a great place to go.
So we're nearing our 1 hour mark. I ask this every time, and somehow I keep stumping everyone. But
I was prepared. I'm prepared.
you're excellent.
I'm prepared.
So do you have any shout outs that you wanna throw out there?
I will give a shout out to all the rescue crews.
Nice.
That's, I know Stash is on the Catskill
Yep.
crew,
Yep.
but like the one with Tompkins, the Tompkins County, it was the Ithaca Fire Department, and I pulled up the Facebook post, and the firefighters were trained in swift water and high angle rope rescue.
Oh, that's
That is
awesome. Yeah.
that is no joke.
Yeah. I can't
Um,
imagine.
I can't imagine. So I will give a shout out to all those people that are trained in that skill set,
Hmm.
that you have that dedication, that I don't want to say fearless because you can't be
No,
fearless and do something like
you
that.
need. Yeah,
A
you need that.
respect.
Yes.
Um, but they're doing that they're putting themselves in harm's way to help other people.
Yep.
And I think they deserve all the kudos and they don't get enough appreciation for what they do.
Awesome. Yeah, I would definitely second that. My shout out is going to go to all the people that are doing the waterfall challenges. Anybody that's already done them, and people that are in the process of doing them. I think it's awesome that people are getting out there and they're challenging themselves to do something other than just the 46ers.
Mhm,
Or even now, I think the fire tower challenge is kind of, I don't know if
mhm.
it's becoming a problem yet, but it seems like a lot more people are
Gain a
doing
lot
it.
more
Yeah,
popularity.
yeah. So jump on those waterfalls. Not a ton of people are. I think we only have 10, 11 finishers, maybe 12 finishers on the New York State 100. So
Mhm.
not a lot of people are doing them yet. So get out there and
Yeah, I think we're 8 and 9 for
yep,
the 100.
yep. I believe you are definitely. So yeah,
Yeah, we
definitely
were
get
in the
out there, and
still in the single digits, but
it's awesome. Yeah, so
I
nice,
would
right?
second those just because it's a lot of fun. You see so many places you never would go for any other reason.
Hmm.
Um, that it's just gonna be out of your norm. It's see New York State.
Yep,
There's so many great areas and so many little towns and places you had no idea existed.
right, exactly. So, and a lot of places I had no idea about before I even photographed some of those too. So,
Mhm.
but all right, well, we're up on our hour, and we're gonna let everyone go to sleep or go do whatever they do on a Tuesday night.
Our
But
storms are done, and I think the dogs are calm now, so
finally, well, I'm
we're
glad
good
everyone.
now.
Awesome. I'm glad everyone stopped in with their questions because those was actually some really good questions, and
Yeah, those were good ones.
yeah, and hopefully we'll get a couple more next week. So other than
Always
that,
welcome questions.
yes, absolutely. We'll catch you later, everyone.